Hi, welcome to ThinkTech. We are raising public awareness about technology, energy, diversity, and globalization. This show is Center Stage. I'm your host, Donna Blanchard, very proud managing director of Kumekuhui Theater. And we are coming to you live from Pioneer Plaza in the heart of downtown Honolulu, very near Kumekuhui Theater. Today I am going to be talking with Kimee Balmilero, who is the creator and the producer of the Hawaii Sketch Comedy Festival. We're going to get to Kimee in just a moment. I'm really excited to talk with her. First, I want to let you know that we have shows that happen all day long here at ThinkTech. We stream live on ustream.tv and Spreaker.com, and you can find all of our shows at thinktechhawaii.com and on YouTube. Okay, so my guest, Kimee Balmilero, is the founder and producer of the Hawaii Sketch Comedy Festival, which is a two-day event for writers and performers to share their work and educational opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, you nailed it.
This is good. It's the first. It's the first ever.
It's the first one. Yeah, we're having it March 28th and 29th at the Doris Duke Theater at the Honolulu Museum of Art. So pretty excited, pretty stoked.
It's really cool. Okay, so tell me. You're going to have events going on all day long, or tell me about the schedule.
So the live show, our first show happens on the Saturday. It's live performances. So sketch comedy, goes back, has been in Hawaii for like well over 30 years at least, I think. Because I remember growing up and watching Rap Replinger and hearing about Booga Booga. I used to love the Three Local Boys growing up. If nobody remembers them, they used to do song parodies. Tiny, I can't say that one. Oh Me So Hungry, I remember that one. Tiny.
Which one couldn't you say?
Tiny Boobies.
Oh, you can say that.
I can say boobies? Okay, Tiny Boobies, which is like tiny bubbles. So our first show happens on Saturday. It's all live performances. And then our second show is actually screenings. We'll have a couple live performances, but the second day is really focused on original videos, comedic videos from all over the place. So I know it's hard for some people to come to Hawaii, especially when you're a working writer or actor elsewhere. So the second day allows people from all over the world really to submit something to be a part of the festival.
Oh, and you have a lot of submissions from around the world?
We're starting to get some in, yeah. Our live performers are actually coming all the way from New York and Los Angeles, which is pretty cool since it's our first year. The fact that we were able to reach people that far was kind of amazing to me, you know? Yeah.
And you have a lot of support from the theater community, improv community here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I moved back home about, it's almost 3 years ago. I moved back home in 2012, May or March, I can't remember. And when I came home, I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I just knew that I wanted to continue doing things in improv and sketch comedy. I was working really hard at studying and doing stuff in Los Angeles at Upright Citizens Brigade. I studied there, and I was part of a sketch group, and we were doing things at like iOS, Second City Hollywood. So when I came home, I was like, I somehow need to figure this out. And I met awesome people like Shannon Winpenny, who does Laugh Track Theater, Garrick Paikai, who does On the Spot and Improvaganza, a lot of other people, and they've just been super, super supportive with everything that's been going on.
Yeah. So we have such a rich landscape of improvisation going on here. We actually had someone at Kumekuhui Theater ask about, we were giving a little talk about what we offer for actors in terms of workshops and classes, and someone said, what about improv? And we're like, there's so many wonderful places that do improv. We don't need to do it over there.
There's a lot, and I think it's funny because, again, improv has existed in Hawaii over 20 years. That was a cool little fact that I learned first moving back, because when I was visiting home, because my family's from here, or I'm from here, from Kaneohe, woo! And so I remember we were visiting for the holidays one year, and I was studying at Upright Citizens Brigade, so I was really hungry to see an improv show. So I Googled long-form improv, and Laugh Track Theater came up. And I thought, oh, cool, there's a theater in Hawaii. And then from there, I found out about On the Spot, and I found out about Loose Screws, even going, further back. So we do have a very strong community, but I still feel like more people need to learn about it, need to kind of be a part of it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think that I was at Second City in Chicago for a little while.
Cool.
And I think that the improvisation that I see here, there's a Hawaiian style to it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Hawaii has its own style in general, right? I mean, we have different history to pull from, different kind of language even to pull from. Our food is even different, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So yes, and I think because a lot of the people who fell in love with improv here in Hawaii have now gone off to learn elsewhere. So it's kind of, we're mixing everything in. I know there are a couple people right now at Second City in Chicago, like Jordan Savusa, Scott Hanada, who started off here in Hawaii, that are now studying abroad, or in Chicago. Even Shannon Winpenny went off. So it's starting to kind of mix. I think we're still staying true to our roots, again, because we have all that local history and knowledge to pull from, but we are starting to kind of bring in different styles, which is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you also have, so when did you decide that we needed a sketch comedy festival?
When did I decide? Well, I started thinking about it for a little while. So I started Improv HI when I first moved home. We started doing, it just started off as a website, you know, it was kind of like a hub for all of the local theaters. Because again, there were so many theaters, but I thought it was a little difficult for people from the outside to find it all in one place. So from there, we started doing shows, and then in November of 2012, I started doing a show called the Scratch Paper Sketch Comedy Show. So that was a show where anybody could put a show up. I borrowed the idea from UCB in LA. They do a show called, oh my gosh, it's leaving me right now.
That's okay. I'm going to ask you to go back anyway.
Okay, great.
So when you say we started doing shows, who's the we and the where and the?
I say we. It's, you know, I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting, I guess, but it is very community based. So we being the community, the improv community, the comedy community, the theater community of Hawaii. So yeah, we started putting up sketch shows and people started writing, and from there everyone, you know, there's been a team that's kind of spun off and started their own show. Then I was like, well, maybe we need to, you know, bring, not, it hasn't really died, but kind of bring more attention to it again. So the idea started kind of forming in 2012, but after Improvaganza of last year, I got super inspired. So I decided to bite the bullet and go for it in just October of last year. So it's been a crazy journey so far.
Yeah. Yeah, that's happened very quickly. And
Yeah.
and the shows that you've been doing, don't you have a performance space in Kaka'ako, or isn't there a space there?
We hop all over the place. So we've actually, you know, Kaka'ako has been changing even within the last 3 years that I've been home. So we started off at a space called the Greenhouse. That was on Awahi Street. It was a co-working space, one of the first co-working spaces to go up. And that's actually where Improv HI was born. It was a bunch of young innovators, you know, starting things up. So they helped me get that together, and they offered me a performance space. Now, when that switched over, I was lucky enough to know the people that took over of Zen Works. So then we started doing this shows, same spot there. Then we started doing shows kind of all over the place. We've done stuff at Arts at Marks before. We've done stuff at the Loading Zone. Gosh, where else? I guess anywhere that anyone will kind of open their doors and want some improv fun or comedy fun.
Yeah.
We're down.
And the people who are involved in it, is this primarily the same? I see a lot of the same faces within the different
Yeah, that's
improv
what I mean. I
groups.
think once people kind of get over their fear of trying improv or comedy, then they fall in love with it. So that's why you'll see a lot of people kind of going, oh, I'm doing this show, I'm doing the jam tonight, then I have a show, a sketch comedy show here, and then we're rehearsing for a festival now, and I want to do the mashup, or I want to do this. I mean, everybody's just kind of wanting to continually do it. So yeah, so they'll get in there. But I think, yeah, we can still welcome in a lot more people.
Yeah. And what about the audiences? Are you seeing the same people in the audience usually? Do you have a lot of return people?
Yes and no. I mean, we do, of course, have the support of the community. Everybody wants to come in, especially the shows that that have a jam or a mashup. Now, when I say a jam, that means anybody can come up and play. So you do see a lot of the same people come up to try it, and it's funny because we do see, like, if I see just one person that I've never seen before in the audience, I get so excited. So there's at least, you know, I'd say at least about 1 to 5 people that are new in the audience. And when they ask, oh, how did you find out about us? Oh, I Googled it. I'm like, oh, wow, that's really cool. You know, I'm just visiting for a week, and I wanted to see some improv because I'm studying here, and I want to see what's going on. So it's a tight community all over the world. So it's really cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so you started Improv HI just as a clearinghouse for information, primarily.
Like an improv hub, I guess.
Yeah, that's very cool that you did that. I think that's necessary.
Yeah, I like it.
But how do you fund all of these?
Well, Improv HI is just kind of, it's a passion project. You know, my boyfriend is a WordPress genius, so he taught me how to build websites. You know, he's right there, so I can kind of nudge him for questions. So I built that all on my own. Any money that was brought in for shows goes right back into, you know, paying for the space or like refreshments and all that kind of stuff. So it's really kind of just, how do you say, it goes back into it. But with the Sketch Festival, we actually ran an Indiegogo campaign. So we were able to hit our goal of $10,000.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was amazing, but man, that's a lot of work. I think, you know, when I had started it, I didn't really plan out what was going to happen. So I'm pretty stoked that we were able to hit that goal and get all that support. So that's how that's getting funded.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so are you planning on continuing with the Improv HI and everything else that you're involved in?
Yeah, so that's still going. Another part of, Improv HI, again, it's a passion project. But I started working with a nonprofit called the Biz Gym Foundation. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They do Lemonade Alley, they do Camp Biz Gym, a lot of other projects. Founder Steve Sue is actually who my boyfriend works for, my boyfriend John LeBlanc. And gosh, how do I make this a short story? Steve and I have worked together for quite a while. And so I started teaching improv classes for adults beginning. I started doing these business workshops. So Steve took one of the workshops and he saw how improv, of course, works with not just actors or comedians, it works for everyone with public speaking, you know, kind of self-confidence, all that stuff. So we tossed around bringing Improv HI under the umbrella of Biz Gym Foundation as a nonprofit. But instead of bringing Improv HI in, we actually created a whole nother division called Story U Arts. So we have three things happening right now. We have Improv HI that lives as an improv hub, and I have some wonderful volunteers helping me out with that. Now, and then Story U Arts, which is connected to Improv HI in the way that Story U Arts brings in master teachers from in the mainland. So we've had like David Rosowski come in, we've had people from UCB come in, we have Jimmy Carrane, who's the improv nerd, he does the Improv Nerd podcast, he's coming in. Then we have the Sketch Festival. So all of these things are kind of happening together and at the same time. And I have some wonderful volunteers that are just, I mean, I couldn't do it without them, really. So yeah, it's kind of like juggling all these, you know, projects at the same time. It's kind of crazy.
Okay, so let's go to, for Story U, you're working with the business community.
Yes, so Biz Gym Foundation, their mission is to empower entrepreneurs. So Story U Arts has two parts. It's to empower the creative entrepreneurs, which is the focus of Hawaii Sketch Comedy Festival. I think that a lot of times artists forget that they're entrepreneurs. You know, I mean, we have this amazing piece of work and we just put it out there for everyone to see and we're hungry, you know what I mean? So you have to have those business skills in order to kind of take your art or your business, your craft to the next level. So that's the first part of Story U Arts. The second part is bringing the business community or bringing theater tools to the business community. So let's say improv for public speaking or team building, short form writing or sketch form writing for advertisement or marketing. So it's kind of bridging the gap between the arts and business, because I think each side forgets that they need each other, or that the other side is important.
All right, we have to take a break, but we're going to come back and I want to pick up right where we were.
Cool.
This is Center Stage on the ThinkTech Hawaii Digital Series. We will be right back.
Okay, this is ThinkTech Hawaii, and it's Wednesday. Every Wednesday is Energy Wednesday here in Hawaii, the state of clean energy. 4 to 5 p.m. every Wednesday. Come and listen to us. And just to show you what I mean, I'm going to ask Sharon to tell us more.
Come and see us every Wednesday, as Jay said. And we have people like Jim Albers from HECO here and co-host Ray Starling here every Wednesday. We not only go on Olelo and OC16, but also stream live. So please come visit us, hear about the latest in clean energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here. You got any comment on all this?
As important as energy is in all of our lives today, this is a great forum and a great format to vet those issues. So I encourage everybody to listen in and participate.
Okay, Ray, what do you think for a close?
Well, I think this is the greatest show in the energy world here in Hawaii. You can come here every week, 1 hour, and catch the latest on what's happening and hear from the people who really know what's going on, like Jim Alberts. We appreciate your coming today.
Thank you.
Ray Starling, Sharon Moriwaki, Jim Alberts, and Jay Fidel here in Hawaii, the state of clean energy, 4 to 5
Aloha.
p.m. Wednesday. Aloha.
Aloha.
Hi, we're back. This is Center Stage on the ThinkTech Hawaii Digital Series. I am Donna Blanchard, proud host of this show and proud managing director of Kumukuhoi Theater. We're coming to you from Pioneer Plaza in the heart of downtown Honolulu, very near Kumukuhoi Theater. I'm talking with Kimee Balmilero. I don't know why your name wants to not
It's
come out of my mouth.
9 letters. It's kind of hard.
It's a lot of
okay.
letters.
I'm used to it. No biggie.
Kimmy is the founder and executive producer of the Hawaii Sketch Comedy Festival. And okay, so we were just talking about what you are, the improv skills that you're bringing to the business community,
Yes.
and the business skills that you're bringing to the artist
Yeah.
community. Do you mind if we delve a little more deeply into
No, I'd
that?
love to.
So when you're working with the business community, do you have a lot of takers? I mean,
Takers?
yeah. Do you
I
have
thought
a lot
said
of
tankers? I'm like, what does
takers,
that
like
mean?
people who say, "Yeah, I want that for my business."
Yes, I do. I teach at I teach this once a month workshop called Twerk Your Brain, and the crowd it varies. You know, sometimes we'll have 10 people, sometimes we'll have like 3. But it's really interesting when you see people who are non-performers come into a class, like an improv class, because when people think improv, they immediately think comedy. You know, it's we were actually just having a conversation about this the other day. Why people think comedy? Because there's a comedy club called the Improv. Whose Line Is It Anyway? Is based on comedy.
Second City.
Yeah. So, but improv really is just about being in the moment, thinking on your feet. You know, really listening. So it's funny to see non-performers, actors, business folks come into the workshop, and they're kind of sweating a little bit. They're not sure what to do. They're not sure if they're gonna like it. But I tell you what, every single time afterwards, they're like, wow, their minds are pretty blown.
Awesome.
They had no idea that they had that in them. They had no idea that it was so useful. So it's one of my favorite classes to teach because you can really see that light bulb kind of click on right away. Because that first exercise happens, they're kind of like, oh, okay, whatever, let's do this stupid improv. Then they're like, wow, what just happened?
Ah.
You know, and they're amazed that their brain is working in a way that it's never worked before. They haven't really tapped into that, you know, lately. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Well, I know one of the things that I love about improv is sometimes you hear things come out of your mouth and you're surprised even as they're
Yeah.
coming out of your mouth, or your body is doing things, and you surprise yourself. And I love it when we realize that our boundaries can be pushed like that, and
Yeah, absolutely.
what kind of amazing creatures we are.
The first thing I say to people that come into my business workshop, you know, oh, improv scares me. I'm like, well, we're improvising right now. And they're like, oh, you're right. I'm like, yeah. I didn't know you were going to be here. You didn't know me, right? So do you have a script? Do you say the same thing every day? And they're like, no. I'm like, cool. So we're improvising. And then once they realize that, they improvise every single day, then they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that? How long have you been teaching those classes?
Those classes, pretty much when I first moved back. The business specific ones,
Yeah.
probably within the last 2 years. Yeah, I'd say within the last 2 years.
Okay.
And I teach
Good.
classes at UH as well for the outreach program, the Pacific New Media class. I actually have one coming up March 4th, I believe. It's a Wednesday. Ooh.
If someone wanted to get involved in those classes, where would they find information on it?
You can just go to improvhi.com. Everything is there, not just my classes, but everyone's classes. So if I feel like, even though, like you say, there are so many different people teaching it, everyone has their own kind of style. You know, everyone's pulled from different places, everyone's learned from different schools. So I say try everyone and then see what sticks. And if that sticks for a little while and you want to try something else, go there. But improvhi.com has everything for you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and the business skills. Now let's talk
Yeah.
about that side a little bit. So what are you teaching people about?
Okay, so the Sketch Comedy Festival, we have instructors coming in from Los Angeles, actually from Upright Citizens Brigade. We'll have a 3-day sketch writing workshop. So they'll learn the tools of basic sketch writing, and I mean, if they even get a little bit more advanced, how to put together a packet for SNL or any show. We also have improv workshops. We have a strong character workshop. So just kind of like taking your art to the next level. Then we have a full day of panels happening. So we'll have pop-up headshots. Did I say headshots earlier?
No, I don't think
thought
so.
I did. See, my mind is thinking ahead. So we'll have photographers there to do pop-up headshots. We'll have panels focused on writing opportunities in Hawaii. I think that's another thing. Again, people think, oh, well, I don't live in New York or LA, so what can I really do here? Like, there's so much to do here. There are working writers and artists here, and you can be one of them. So talking, having that conversation of where do I find that, and how do I get my work seen, and where do I submit it? I mean, just like Kumakuhua Theater, you guys support so many local artists and so much original work that there are probably a lot of people out there that don't realize that,
Yeah.
So finding those outlets to showcase yourself. And another thing that I want to talk about is also opportunities outside of Hawaii. How do you kind of start yourself? Like, okay, if I'm getting into this, I've done Hawaii 5.0, I do acting classes here with Wayne Ward or with Scott Rogers or whoever you study from. I really feel like this is my time. What do I do? What do I need to prepare? For me, I started my professional career as an actor when I was 17. And I was lucky enough to have a job to step into that pretty much taught me everything. But I've heard so many stories of people just going, all right, I'm going to move to Hollywood, and then they come back going, holy crap, that was really difficult. I learned this, my headshot was terrible, my resume was all over the place, I didn't know what it was like to be in an audition room. So preparing people for those moments, because you want to get all this knowledge before you step in,
Right.
Experience is the best way, but if we can provide our creative entrepreneurs with these tools to kind of help them have a better moment in that room, then we'd be really excited.
So you're offering people artistic education, or business skills, not just for someone who wants to be in improvisation or
Yeah, everybody.
sketch comedy.
Yeah, everybody. Even for shooters or directors, videographers, there's a lot of opportunities, and there are a lot of groups that should kind of form together or can help you work on your craft too. High Shoots by B-Rad Studios or Brad Watanabe, they do these monthly meetups for videographers. They're super educational, new equipment, how to set up a video with an interview, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's the comedy world or the sketch comedy world, the improv world, the acting world, the theater world. There are so many different parts to it than just the performer. As the writer, the director, the set design even, the marketing. That's an art as well, so.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of bring everything
Set
together.
designers and lighting designers.
Yeah.
Make those lighting designers your
Yeah.
friends. Okay, so let's back up even further. You said you
Okay.
started your acting career at 17.
Yes.
So now I'm thinking, all right, you're doing an awful lot. And we talked a little bit about how you're doing what you're doing. I want to talk about why.
Oh, okay.
So you're born and raised here?
Yep, born
Yeah.
and raised in Kaneohe, Hawaii. Went to Kapunahala, King Intermediate, Castle High School. Yep, Kaneohe girl all the way.
And were you exposed to a lot of theater when you were young?
I was, like Kaneohe girl, Windward Side, Mr. Bright. Ron Bright is my director, my mentor. He's so wonderful. My gosh, my heartstrings. So Mr. Bright found me at 5th grade. I'm an only child, this crazy Filipino girl, just kind of singing. I remember he probably doesn't remember this, but my first song that I ever sang for Mr. Bright, he would bring all the kids out one by one to sing a song so we could hear our voice. And I sang Surfaces, Shower Me With Your Love. I don't know if you know that song.
I don't.
You should Google it right now. I'm not going to sing it for you, but it's an R&B song from the 80s. And I still love that song. So I sang that song for him. And my first production with him was Bright Lights on Broadway when I was in 5th grade at Castle Performing Arts Center, now the Ron Bright Theater. And I continued with him all the way through high school. him and Marcelo Pacleb. Marcelo was another one, again, pull on my heartstrings. He was the choreographer there with Mr. Brian. They still work together a lot. They really, gosh, it's hard to explain the magic that they were able to create and still are able to create, because there's something about, like, they're able to see a certain spark in someone. You know, maybe that person doesn't even realize that they're ready, but they'll bring you in and they'll support you and really push you to be your best self. And I think without that, I would not be creating all these crazy projects. You know, I always think that there's got to be something more. There's more that we can do. So yeah, I was exposed to that. I should also say, because my dad will get upset if I don't, that my first speech festival was because of my father. And I got all superiors with Sick by Shel Silverstein when I was in first grade. So
Oh, my
thank you,
goodness.
Dad, yes.
Are your parents into performing? Are they?
Yes and no. I think my dad, he's a musician, or he plays guitar. And my mom, she's from the Philippines, but I hear stories of how she was a dancer. She doesn't talk about it. No, she does a little bit. She did like balancing stuff. I never see her do it now, but everyone always says that I'm like my dad, which means that I'm a clown, because he was kind of like a class clown. Everyone says that he is super outgoing. So I think in that sense, yeah, they are.
Okay. Okay. So you got exposed to the perfectionism behind the performance, the ability to be in front of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got this nicely honed by some fabulous teachers at school.
Yeah.
And did you ever want to be anything else? Did you ever want to pursue anything else?
Yeah, I didn't think that acting was even a career, you know, at that age. I mean, it's funny because my first job was as a performer, and that's all I knew, but I didn't think it was like real. You know, my high school job was a singer and a dancer on The Star of Honolulu. That was my high school job. And of course we did gigs with 24/7, but I remember thinking, oh, what am I going to do after high school? I didn't even take my SATs. So I thought, oh, you know, maybe I'll work in the hotel industry. You know, my aunt's a catering manager at a hotel, and I was like, I like doing events. You know, that sounds like fun, planning events. Why not? So I wanted to do that, but I got picked up by Miss Saigon while I was in high school.
Oh.
So they kind of decided my career for me, which was pretty cool. It's funny, my dad came up with me to start the tour, and we didn't even realize that I was getting paid. So we got the first paycheck, and we were like, whoa, what is this? I get paid? Wow, crazy.
So that was for a touring company?
Yeah, that was the Second National Touring Company. They used to come to Hawaii a lot, actually. Not just that company, but Miss Saigon in general. We have a lot of original Broadway cast members from here: Jade Stice, Melanie Toggio, Willie Falk. And then also, I know there are more. The Second National Touring Company original cast members from here were Clifton Hall, Robert Orozco, Amato Cacho, and more. Then they're gonna be like, Kimmy, you didn't say my name. And more people, and then, you know, more Hawaii people came in. So I think they figured out right away that there was a lot of local talent and Asian talent, which is what they needed here in Hawaii. So it was kind of a thing that Mr. Bright's kids did after a while, because a lot of them were, the audition. The audition was kind of like, oh, we're gonna audition for Miss Saigon because we wanna be like Jade Stice, you know? So yeah, we just kind of went. I had like a 3-page resume. I remember going to the library and looking up a book for resumes, and it was like a business resume. It listed everything down to like, you know, in 3rd grade, I was the earthworm in James and the Giant Peach. I was
Nice.
16. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So, and then I took my headshot at the mall. You know, like went to one of those photo shops. So yeah, I went in. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, okay, all of my friends are going. This is what we're doing. It's gonna be fun. I auditioned, I think, in the fall of '96, and I got the call on Mother's Day, a month before I was going to graduate, that I had gotten the job.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice graduation present.
yeah, but it didn't really, like, I remember that day so clearly. It didn't really register what it meant, because I remember talking to the casting director and to the associate producer, And I had somehow, I don't know why, but I asked them if I could graduate. So I literally asked a production to wait for me.
Oh.
You know, I was a month away from graduating, and because I wasn't thinking in my head that this was a professional show. You know what I mean? I thought like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool. You want me to do the show? Hey, you know, I'm actually graduating in a month, so is it okay if I start then? And they were cool.
And they said, okay.
Yeah, they were super cool with it.
Well,
I
good
would
for them.
I would never do that now. I mean, you get a job, you go.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I was really lucky to have that support.
No kidding. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
We're gonna take one more break, and we'll be right back. Wow, we were right up in my grill there for me. Okay, we will be right back with Center Stage in just a moment.
Hi, aloha. My name is Chris Leatham, and I host a show called The Economy and You. The show plays every Wednesday at noon, and on my show, I bring on guests who are interested or working in the technology space. And so I'd like you to come and watch the show and learn with me about all the sort of exciting things that we're doing in Hawaii to build and grow our economy ecosystem. So I'd like to say aloha, and I look forward to seeing you on the show. Thank you.
Hello, we're back on Center Stage on the ThinkTech Hawaii Digital Series. I'm your host, Donna Blanchard, proud Managing Director of Kumukuhua Theater, and we are talking with Kimee Balmilero.
It's okay, I can barely say it. So.
I apologize.
You just call me Kimmy.
Kimmy.
Yeah,
We're talking
let's
with
let it go.
Kimmy
Let's let it go.
of the Hawaii Sketch Comedy Festival
Yes.
and Improv HI and Biz Gym and Story U Arts.
Yeah,
How'd I do?
great.
Okay, so you got into Miss Saigon. You were doing the same stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah, we closed the company out. So I was there with them for about 2.5 years, and that was like my college. It was school. I was with professional actors, doing a professional show, touring the country in Canada. So I learned a lot really quickly. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, that was my dream show. It's really, I remember listening to the recordings when I was younger. We had taken a trip to the Philippines to visit my mom's family, and I bought the cassette tape. And I remember listening to Lea Salonga over and over again and thinking, oh my gosh, I just want to be like her. So to do this dream show at such an early age, it's something that I remember in a program for a show that we were doing with Mr. Bright, you know, has our bio, and it said my dream was to see a professional production of Miss Saigon.
Oh, how sweet
Which we
is
did.
that?
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, so cute. She just wants to see a little Broadway show. And
Let's
we
put her
got,
in one.
yeah. So it's really, like, now, you know, when I was younger, I was like, okay, like I said, I asked for a month, you know, to wait. So I was doing it. It was just kind of what was already in me. But now looking back on it, like, man, I don't know where I would be now without that experience. So yeah, so we did the show, saw the country, you know, this little girl from Kaneohe, I went to the mainland once with our thespian troupe. We went to Nebraska to do the Thespian Festival, and then we went to New York, where my dream of seeing a professional production of Miss Saigon came true. But then after we closed, I knew that I wanted to continue doing this. I said, you know, I was never a lead in high school. I had one part in my junior year in high school in Once on This Island. You know, I mean, the talent that we had at Castle was just so amazing. You know, that to be a part of the show and to work with people like Michael Bright or Clifton or Sarah Lea Gamiao, any of the Ongwais was just like so huge. So I thought, like, okay, Kimmy, you did this show, now what? Are you gonna go home, or you gotta continue this, right? Like, you can't just take this for granted. So I was deciding between New York and LA, but before I did that, I went back to San Francisco to study at Studio ACT, the American Conservatory Theater, because all I knew was what we learned in high school. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can go to New York with that. You know what I mean?
Wise thing
yeah.
to think
So,
at that
but
age.
again, a part of the business side of it, you know? And I have to thank everyone that I've ever worked with in Saigon for that, because they were like my big brothers and sisters. They said, you can't, you know, You're from a small town. You're going to go to New York and what? You have this great credit, but everybody else has this great credit too. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I had a lot of mentors there helping me, like looking at my resume, helping me with my headshot, you know, forming letters to send to agents, following up. I mean, if it wasn't, again, for them, I would have been like, New York City. So so I studied at ACT, at the studio ACT, which is their night classes, for a little while, loved it, and then I moved to New York.
You did go to New York. Okay, we have like 4 minutes left.
Oh,
I hate
crazy.
to. I know it goes fast,
Wow, that
right?
went by really fast, yeah.
So how did you make? I'd really love to know how you made that leap from scripted work to improv, because there's a really big difference there.
Well, I think improv is introduced to any theater student through theater games, right? They just call it something else. It's always something that I've liked. I took an improv class at Studio ACT, and that's when I really fell in love with it. Then when I moved to New York, I was doing Mamma Mia at the time, and one of my castmates wanted to start taking classes at Upright Citizens Brigade. And I said, okay, you know, she didn't want to go by herself, so I went with her, and I was hooked. That was it. So I took the first class there, and then when I moved to LA, I really got into it there. I went through 4 levels of it, did the sketch writing program, and then also joined a sketch writing team, and those guys really, really got me into sketch writing. So yeah, that was the... Yeah, and I think they go hand in hand. I think people need to remember that too.
Yes, they do, and there's a lot of, for regular stage work, there's a lot of improvisation that goes into, that's what your rehearsals are.
Yep.
That's what you're going through. But when it comes down to, if I had my choice to do one or the other, then everybody falls into one of those buckets, yeah?
Sure.
And give me a script.
Yep.
Give me a script.
Yeah.
Give me time, give me a script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say, though, for anybody that only likes to do scripted work, is to try improv just a little bit, because it will only help you, especially in the audition room, I think. I've seen a lot of actors in the audition room kind of like stumble and fall because they tell you to improvise a scene, or they tell you to improvise this moment, or they give you direction to feel something, and they're like, well, what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what would your character say? And they're like,
Here, be in this moment, but be someone else while you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for being here. It's
thanks
about
for having
doggone
me.
time. I'm really glad to have had the opportunity to talk to you about this.
Me too.
So people should go to improvhi.com.
For improv classes, and then for any information on the Sketch Festival, you can go to hisketchfest.com.
hisketchfest.com.
Yeah.
And you also have an active Facebook
Yes.
page for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Fabulous. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being here. There's a few other people that I would like to thank. Our production manager, Zuri Bender, who is in my ear. Our floor manager, Sachi Slomov, who's right over there. Hi. And Jay Fidel, who somehow manages to put all of this together. Join us next week. We will be back here on Center Stage at 2 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. That's Aleutian Time. And check out all of our shows. If you'd like to see this show again or anything in our archives, you can find those at thinktechhawaii.com and on YouTube. Thanks. Bye.